Okay, let's review when we use multiplication of fractions to solve a word problem. Our first step here, if we're given just a fraction, so this does not include whole numbers. If we had mixed numbers, then you would solve it the same exact way, but you'd need to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction before solving. So we know that we're going to multiply when we are solving for an amount of an amount or a quantity of a quantity when using repeated addition or when we see a certain amount times as much in a word problem. So these are our key terms that we're looking for. So let's say we wanted to solve for, let's find out what 1/2 of 3/4 is. So if we had 3/4 of a pizza, I love to talk about fractions when we're talking about pizza, or I'm sorry, talk about pizza when we're talking about fractions. So if we have 3/4 of a pizza left and we're trying to figure out what 1/2 of 3/4 is, then we're going to use multiplication as the operation to solve that. Now, first things first, we need to know and recognize or be able to construct a model that represents this problem. So first of all, or first things first, I should say, we are going to represent 3/4. So if I'm drawing this model, I know that this part represents 1/4, and this part represents 1/4, and this part represents 1/4, and this part represents 1/4. Sorry, I'm not very skilled at writing really small on this thing. So this represents, once I color it in, 3/4. So we've got 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4 shaded. Now I'm trying to solve for what 1/2 of 3/4 is. So now I'm going to come up here. We talked about rows and columns when we were building these models. So now I want to represent 1/2 and 1/2. Remember, the denominator determines how many pieces or cuts that we're going to make on this model. And now I'm going to select a different color. Let's use green here. And I'm going to shade 1 out of 2. And it doesn't matter which one I choose, but I'm going to shade now 1 column out of 2. So now to solve this or find my product here, I'm going to look for which parts have overlapping shading. We talked about overlapping means one laying over the other. And I have 3 parts. 3 parts has overlapping shading out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3 out of 8. So now I'm going to go back and check my model thinking with the algorithm here. So we talked about how the of 1/2 of 3/4 is going to change to the multiplication symbol. And now I can multiply straight across, then simplify if I need to. So 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. So last thing I'm going to do is check to see, can I divide this by 2, 3, 5, or 7? And remember, when simplifying, it must be the numerator and denominator to make that possible. I cannot divide the numerator by 2, so that's out. I cannot divide the denominator by 3, so that's out. I can't divide either by 5 or 7, so 3/8 does check out as the correct product.